provincial leadership is expected to be voted in today. For more, let's cross live now to the event.
Our Congress is on time. Which other opposition party holds their Congresses at all? Yeah, Diabuza. Which ones hold their Congresses at all? These are self-appointed leaders appointing other leaders. We get together, we have branches, we elect delegates, we come to Congresses, we elect our leaders, and then we go to the people. And we say, we preach democracy because we practice democracy. And when we say we're having a Congress and we invite the SABC, thank you very much for being here, we start on time. Yabona? We start on time. And we finish the program. And we don't throw chairs at each other. And we don't have a fight over the delegates list because we do things honestly and fairly. We don't steal votes and we don't steal money. Because we are the blue family. We are true blue. Blauw, bly, getrou. And that is what you can expect from the DA. And as we're going into an election year 2024, the 30th anniversary of democracy in South Africa. Think of that. And it may take 30 years, but eventually people wake up. Bayavuka. En let me tell you die mense word wakker. Hulle sien wat slegte regering beteken. And the good thing is that in South Africa, it's like a controlled experiment. You know, when you did science at school, if you did science at school, you test one thing, and then on the other side you have a test tube that you didn't put that chemical into, and you look at the difference of the outcome. You do a controlled experiment to see what makes the difference. South Africa is a science laboratory. You can go anywhere where the ANC governs with an overall majority. And then you can go anywhere where the DA governs with an overall majority, and you can see the difference. It is a huge difference. And who benefits most from blue government? The poor. It is the poor. Because wealthy people, if the police fail them, get private security. Wealthy people, if the hospitals fail them, they get private health. Wealthy people, if public transport fails them, they get their own car. If the schools fail them, they go to private education. But let me tell you that when government fails, poor people pay the highest price. And of course there are poor people where the DA governs. But it is there that people get opportunity. They get schools that work, clinics that work, where the nurses don't have to carry women in labour up the steps. Now you must excuse me, and I'm speaking to the women now, especially those that have had babies. You remember being in labour. We can't even begin to describe it to our husbands, even if they were there. Can you imagine in that time having to be carried up a flight of steps by other people? You know, you told me that one of the big DA campaigns in Mpumalanga was to get a lift fix. I would have said, well, that sounds rather obvious. When I go to our airports, I always write a letter afterwards to tell them which locks on the toilet doors aren't working. But that's a sort of private thing that I do to AXA. But let me tell you, if you told me one of the biggest campaigns in Mpumalanga was to get a lift fix, I would have thought, yo. But when I hear it is to save pregnant women from having to be carried up the steps in labour, or people going for life-saving surgery in deep pain, having to be dragged up a flight of steps by other people, then you can see how at the most basic level, the failure of the state, the corruption of the state, robs poor people of all their dignity. And it is that at the most basic level. So if people say to us in the DA, what did we ever do for you? I will never say to them, at least we had the lifts working. I will never say that. But it's only people who don't have the lifts working when their lives depend on it that knows what an efficient administration means to you. And that is at the tiniest, tiniest, tiniest level. But build on that at every level and you will see what it means to switch on your tap and get clean water coming out of it reliably every day. To know that when there's Eskom load shedding, your local government is bringing you down stages because they're generating their own electricity, encouraging the public to do so, and giving you hard cash.
Yes.
And that is the DA difference. And it's not a miracle. It's not a miracle. It happens because people vote for it. It is very, very simple. It happens because people vote for it. Now let me also tell you a hard truth, a very hard truth. I was elected mayor of Cape Town in 2006, and we took it away from the ANC. And we had a 7-party coalition, and it was hard. But it will be much, much harder if we win governments in Mpumalanga because they are so much more broken.
Yes.
The ANC hadn't been in government long in Cape Town, not too long. Things were broken, but not beyond repair. We still had officials who were professional, who thought that their job is not to serve a ruling party, but to serve the public. And if the public has voted for a political party, the role of the official is to implement the policy of the party that was elected by the people. They understood that. So they weren't trying to serve another party outside of the government. And they did their work professionally and well. You're not going to have that when you take over Mpumalanga. It's not going to be easy to show the DA difference. But we have to keep on trying, because there is no other way to save South Africa.
Yes.
Vote by vote,
Yes.
VD by VD,
Yes.
ward by ward,
Yes.
municipality by municipality.
Yes.
It is the only way to save South Africa. And you and I know that. And that is why, to our last breath, we will be on this project. To my last breath, I will be on this project. Because everything in this wonderful country depends on it. And if we can't make South Africa work, the world can't work. Because boundaries are breaking down, people are moving all over, and the world is going to have to get used to plural societies with different cultures, different religions, different backgrounds, different languages, learning how to live together. And when I said South Africa is one big science experiment where people can compare the difference, we're a critical experiment to succeed for the world, because if we don't succeed, the future of humanity can't succeed.
Yes.
And it is as simple as that. So we have to get it right. And that's why I always used to say, in Xhosa, I'm sorry, I know that many of you speak Zulu, but I've spent enough of my life learning Xhosa.
Tetama.
Yes,
Yes.
that brings people together. Ikongolose, because I'm not going to mention the other name. Ikongolose,
Yes.
drives people apart. It's very easy to drive people apart. It's very easy on color, on race, on language, on religion. We can all drive each other apart. It's much more difficult, but it is the blue way to say we are very different. That if we have rules that we all agree to, and if we all play by those fair rules, and if we all believe in freedom, fairness, democracy, and diversity, if we believe in those things, we can all work together while maintaining our own identity and respecting each other. That is the DA way. And it is the only way South Africa can succeed. And believe me, in the next century, on the way. Now, my speech hasn't even started yet. And I've only got 10 minutes. So let me try and be quick. I love coming to congresses because there's not a single congress where I haven't learned something about South Africa and something about the DA. Today I learned about the lists in the DA, and I'm very proud of that. But I also learned there's a place called Tonteldoos. A place called Tonteldoos. Is there anyone here who comes from Tonteldoos? Man, I've got to go to Tonteldoos. It's now on my bucket list. And did you fix the bridge there? a road, so now I can even get to Tonteldoos. That is absolutely fantastic. I think that is the most fantastic place name in South Africa. I've got a list of my favorite place names, and Tonteldoos is going right to the top. That is a magnificent name, so that's really, really nice. Now, we have some important political news this week. The registration weekend, the first one, is going to be in October this year. Now, let me tell you, October is not far away. Just yesterday it was Christmas, wasn't it? And now we're just about going into March. So believe me, this year is going faster than any year ever before it. Ivan Meyer was just saying that to me. He doesn't know where this year's gone.
That's the DA's Provincial Congress happening there in Mpumalanga.